Can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, for meeting with me. I picked, or I wanted to meet with you all specifically because of the role that you have at Hardin as educators, but also I know that a lot of us hold a lot of leadership roles. Should we go around super quick and mention our name and our just our role at our school? I'll go first. My name is Ms. Hernandez, and I'm ELD teacher, and I'm a team lead.
I'm Elise Laplace. I teach AVID and ALD, and I'm one of the instructional coaches at Hardin.
I am Eva Moore, and I am the department chair for the ELD department.
And I am Jose Moreno, ELD teacher and part of the Schools Guiding Coalition.
Perfect. For the meeting, I think that the norms that we usually use could work. I'm going to read those out loud, and then we can go into the meeting agenda with the one that you think the most valuable for today will be. Number 1, pausing, paraphrasing, posing questions, putting ideas on the table, providing data, paying attention to self and others, and pursuing positive intentions. In the agenda, and I can zoom in, could you type in your name with the norm that you think is the most valuable when collaborating with the team? Okay, so I see providing data, question, paying attention, I think, to self and others. Pausing, great. Okay. The next part of the agenda is to look at our data. And I know that I've provided this data for you before, I think on a form. For those, I think, Mr. Moreno, you responded to some of my surveys. This is the data that has been presented. You can click on it from the agenda, or you can look at the screen here. Take a quick moment to look at that.
Wow.
What are some observations or patterns that you have taken from the data? I can type those in.
Are we just looking at the ELA data at first?
Yeah, just the ELA.
I noticed that EL students, far fewer EL students met the standard as compared to EOs.
I'm noticing that in the 3 school years, they look very similar. Every year looks like almost like a copy of one another, which is informing us about growth or lack of growth.
What assumptions can we make about the data? Why do you think this is happening, or what questions do you have about the data?
I have a question on the standard exceeded. It's very minimal each year. It's just not even a full percentage. So I'm just really curious if those are students that remained in our program or not. Is it a matter of misplacement, perhaps? It amounts to probably just a handful of students where the standard was exceeded.
Mm-hmm. So your question is so are the students who remain in this level? Can you repeat your question? Sorry.
Yeah. So the very small percentage of students that it says standard exceeded of our ELs, I'm very curious if they remained in our EL program for a full year.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect, I guess an assumption is I wouldn't expect an EL to exceed the standard because they would have been reclassified by then.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more looking at other criteria like reducing, making it more equal, the standard nearly met, I would imagine, because if you are an English learner, you haven't proved your fluency on the LPAC.
Mm-hmm.
Right. For the next section, the actions, I think we can do it in this section here. What are some ideas about how we can help with this pattern of our data looking every year, looking the same with EL students far below the performance of when we compare it to students who are English only? What are some ideas that we have as to how we can help this issue, close this gap? Maybe I have maybe like strengthen our reading program.
How about exposure to practice tests or the type of questions they might come across, like test taking skills, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say.
I think with that also looking at who these students are and what specific skills are lacking or where they are struggling and focusing on those skills as well. And maybe that would connect to part of the testing is how can they improve on those skills and therefore do better on the test.
Okay. So there's probably, I like all three of those ideas would be good. If we did a PDSA cycle on this topic, like how can we change this pattern or change these numbers? The first step in the P is to plan. And we could plan and see what we think might work. We can really dig deeper into the data. We can look into our test taking skills and our reading and literacy thing, and we can maybe come up with something, an idea that we can use the data within it or collect new data to see if it's making a difference. And then we can, like, this is really our big dot aim, right? And we're not going to be able to tell, but we can create something in the plan, do, study, act cycle that could really take a look at this so that to close this gap.
Yeah,
Because we don't know what the skills are.
Yeah, I think
reading comprehension, is it grammar, what are those skills, and then we can focus on a specific a plan for one of those specific skills. Start with one that we would focus on, work on that, and then see, do we see growth based on our plan?
Right. Yeah, I think this is too big to just like make a decision. I think, what do you think, Eva? Should we do a PDSA on this?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and how would it looks like we are leaning towards the PDSA cycle? How would that PDSA cycle align to our mission and vision statement from the current one? I know that we're trying to make some changes, but this is what I haven't seen any changes yet. So I
No,
need
not yet.
what we
It's
have.
still in the works. But I think that I mean, part of the mission statement is getting students to the highest academic standards. And so really what that comes down to is being at grade level or higher. So we can see that based on that data, the students are not at grade level for the most part. So that connects directly to the mission statement in that regard.
Yeah, because I think we see that all students, and it's clearly an issue with many students here, but especially the ELs. So I think that would help close that.
I agree.
I think it's tied to the mission a little bit more than our vision.
Okay, sounds good. For the next short meeting, maybe we can talk about what the steps would be in trying to complete a PDSA cycle. How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Yay.